Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is a special episode number 127, and this time we're actually going to be talking about a special and famous hadrosaur or duck-billed dinosaur, and that dinosaur is Parasaurolophus. And so here's a size chart of Parasaurolophus and where the timeline fits, what family belongs to, but I'll get that in a little while. So, information about Parasaurolophus. Its name means near-crested lizard. Length is 30 feet long, approximately 9.5 meters. Height, 8 feet, so 1.8 meters, excuse me. Weight, 2 to 4 tons, 4,000 to 8,000 pounds. Lived 76.5 to 73 million years ago in the late Cretaceous. And fossils have been found in North America, and the paleontologist that found Parasaurolophus was William Parks in 1922, as that was when it was described. And so what we see here, some pictures here, and so on the left, we actually see here is a map of North America. So Parasaurolophus is mostly found in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Canada, Montana, Wyoming. I've heard that there's some fossil sites in Utah and even in New Mexico. So Parasaurolophus would have a very wide range, and so that would probably mean that it was a migrating dinosaur, so like most hadrosaurs are, and they were probably in like hundreds of members in a herd, and that would be the reason why they actually migrated, is just to find more food and water. And on the right we got a couple skeleton pictures. One is a silhouette kind of picture right here by Scott Hartman in 2013. So this is Parasaurolophus silhouette in terms of the skeleton, and majority of the skeleton has been found. I believe there has been a couple Parasaurolophus specimens that are fully complete. They might not be fully grown, but even though they could actually be close to adulthood, and so and I think one of them is an adult, so you get the idea here. And then here's a Parasaurolophus skeleton in the Field Museum in Chicago, and I've been there myself. I'm planning to go down. I'm going to plan to go down to the Field Museum again sometime this year and see Sue, but also just to check out the other stuff that is actually there too. So we'll get to post an extra episode about the Field Museum sometime this year, so stay tuned for that and later down in the future. But I'll let you guys know when that's going to come. But anywho, let's continue on with the PowerPoint here. More information about Parasaurolophus. It belongs to the Hadrosauridae family, and the Hadrosauridae family that is part of is the Lambeosaurinae. So it is related to Lambeosaurus and Corythosaurus, those types of dinosaurs. But it is part of that kind of family, the Lambeosaurinae. And of course, like all hadrosaurs, it actually has thousands of teeth in its mouth, so it chews its food. It's a herbivore, so it eats plants. The cone-shaped crest is mainly used for display, but also to make low-frequency sounds. So these are pretty much sounds that are much lower than what we can hear. That is called infrasound, and males use them for mating season to attract the females. Who has the loudest sound could actually be the most attractive. That sort of thing. Males with their crests would actually be a little bit more straight, whereas the females would actually have a more curved crest. And for a long time, paleontologists thought that these crests might be like snorkels, because they thought there might be a little bit of like a tube inside the crest to actually help it breathe air. But when we look at the crest, we don't see like a hole on the back of the crest at the end of the crest to actually suggest that it was a snorkel, but the crest was hollow to actually give those low frequency sounds. Now in Parasaurolophus, like all hadrosaurs, they would walk on 4 legs and feed on 4 legs, and they will run on 2 legs. So it's kind of like the switcheroo type of locomotion, which is where when it needs to walk, it would walk on 4 legs. And then when it needed to run away from a predator, it would actually have to run on 2 legs. Cannot run on 4 legs. The environment in where Parasaurolophus actually lived, it was warm and humid. There was a bunch of swamps and floodplains. Parasaurolophus could live in the forests from time to time, but they probably mainly actually stuck to the swamps and the floodplains. Lots of conifers and ferns. The flowers dominated in the late Cretaceous period, and other animals actually were around at that time too. Mammals, reptiles, birds, amphibians, insects. You got your pterosaurs, and also other dinosaurs as well. And of course, where's the herbivore, there are the predators. And so Parasaurolophus was not the only prey item around in the late Cretaceous. I mean, there was a couple ceratopsians, there was probably one more hadrosaur around, and I mean, you get the idea. And then we actually have a lot of predators. There were a lot of predators around during the time of Parasaurolophus. So you got Troodon. Troodon was around. It probably didn't hunt Parasaurolophus that much. It probably could scavenge off of like a young Parasaurolophus, or hunted a young Parasaurolophus. There's Albertosaurus, a well-known tyrannosaur. Daspletosaurus could possibly be around during the time of Parasaurolophus, but I think Daspletosaurus would be hunting more of the ceratopsians, and also probably one type of hadrosaur, and that'll probably be Maiasaura. Dromaeosaurus was also around at that time. Very kind of sort of well-known raptor dinosaur. And then you actually have one type of crocodile that actually lived around that time of Parasaurolophus, and that is Deinosuchus. And Deinosuchus was a massive crocodile, probably one of the biggest crocodilians to ever live. It's not the largest, but it is actually one of the biggest. And so here is Albertosaurus. That is probably the main predator of Parasaurolophus, and Albertosaurus is a very fast tyrannosaur. I could talk about Albertosaurus sometime later down in the future for a special episode. And of course, the extinction of Parasaurolophus, it was due to pretty much climate change. The Western Interior Seaway was beginning to retreat, and so the Western Interior Seaway was draining, and so it was ultimately starting to become drier. And also, there was one particular event that was starting to happen close to 70 million years ago, and that was the Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains were starting to form, and so that was pretty much what was going to happen to a lot of dinosaurs, was that the Rocky Mountains were pretty much going to start draining the Western Interior Seaway, and also a lot of dinosaurs cannot actually go past the Rocky Mountains that much. The swamps were becoming scarce, so it was beginning to get drier, and larger hadrosaurs were also taking over, so Edmontosaurus was actually going to start to take over. And also bigger tyrannosaurs were actually starting to come around. Even though Gorgosaurus was actually living around 73 million years ago, it was probably due to the fact that Albertosaurus and Gorgosaurus are actually sister species, that Gorgosaurus was probably taking on faster hadrosaurs, whereas maybe Daspletosaurus, since it was kind of around at that particular time, Daspletosaurus was taking on the hadrosaurs and also more muscular hadrosaurs. Ceratopsians and more muscled hadrosaurs were pretty much the diet of Daspletosaurus, but even though Tyrannosaurus rex was starting to appear close to 70 million years ago, but it was a little bit after 70 million years ago is when Tyrannosaurus rex started to appear. And so here's a map of North America around 75 million years ago, and so here's the Western Interior Seaway that split North America into 3 islands, and so here's Lauromardia, and here's Appalachia. So Appalachia, eastern part of North America. Lauromardia is actually western part of North America, and you can see a bunch of mountains there, and then Rocky Mountains would start to form right around here. And so that's where you actually get the Western Interior Seaway starting to drain, and they will start basically from right here. It will start from right here, and it'll start draining, and then pretty much the only part that would be kind of almost like sandy area is in the Dakotas. So the next episode is on February 15th, 2019, and that'll be a Q&A episode. So if you get any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you get your posted questions on the wall or in the comments section. But remember, keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you, and also for younger people out there, to make sure you listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you could have for good education. It's very important to have good educations. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. And that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.